Just welcome my students. This is week number 4, class number 4. We're going to be continuing with Adobe Illustrator. I'm going to share my screen now. We're going to get on with today's exercise. All right, so here we go. So this is your the module, as you know already. This is released for you now. It's class 3 Android. This is another one of my favorite exercises, as it teaches you more advanced drawing techniques. So as you completed the logo assignment that was given to you in the past few weeks, that was handed in last week. This is the new stuff we're going to be learning now. It'll just expand your drawing and technical abilities in the program. So this is a really, really good exercise here. I'm going to demonstrate it in this class right now. What I'm going to do is when I see you Wednesday, I'm going to have you partake into this exercise portion here. I do this from time to time, especially with my other online classes that I do. For this one, you're going to be just uploading your version of the actual design or the exercise itself. All right, so we're going to do that. If you can do it even before Wednesday, that'll be great. But if you don't do it and you need some help, this is what I'm here for. I'm going to see you guys then, and we're going to get this all done. This is just out of your participation kind of contribution here. It's not going to be graded in any way with your overall mark, but it is part of your participation and your attendance. So make sure this is adhered to as well. All right. Then we get into class number 4, advanced drawing techniques. I'm going to release that to you next time. And then this is, my apologies, this is class 3, week 4. Okay, I know we skipped that first class as we did the week that we had off the break. Okay, so it says class 3 Android. It's class 4 digital drawing and class 5 UI kit. So let me just make sure my folders are added up here. Right. So it's lab 3 that we had last time, class 2. So this is class 3. It's funny because we started the lab before the class. Because the classes are on Mondays and the labs are on Wednesdays. All right. So that's okay because we're going to be utilizing the lab to help you guys anyways with the projects and stuff. So that's fine. This happened before, by the way. A few times actually, now to think about it. All right. So yeah, class 3, class 4. And then I'm going to introduce to you the UI kit. This is class 5. We're going to be going over some of the, UI, UX fundamentals that you're already doing in the other class. So if this helps you with with some of the submissions that you have to do for the other classes or other projects, I would like to see you utilize the same thing for both, or maybe even more than one. But this is the UI kit exercise, and these are the wireframes we're going to produce in Illustrator. So now it's going to be more UI kind of incorporated, and then also we're going to be doing the website part of the stuff in the next module, which is the Photoshop module. Okay,
Hey
and then we
Milo,
have
is there any way that we could get access to those other modules right now? Like I just saw the one that you just put up for wireframing and the other stuff there. Is there any way that we can gain access to that?
I can obviously make it available. Are you moving a little quicker than everyone else? Is that why?
Yeah, I think so right now. In this particular class, in the other classes, definitely not. But
Sure, for sure. Here,
yeah, man, if we can gain access to that now,
there you
that'd be a
go.
huge
Done,
help.
done.
Thank you, man.
Okay, no problems. Yeah, if you, I don't, it's just sometimes it's overwhelming if I release everything at once. Sometimes you see too many folders, too many files. If you do step by step, it's easier to digest. But I always give you 1 week ahead, anyways. Maybe this one I forgot to release, but now I did it before the class. So I'll keep um I'll keep that in mind going forward. Release a few classes, at least 2, 3 classes ahead of time. Okay. All right, perfect. So speaking of which, let me just make sure my yeah, all my assignments are there. Okay. So let's go ahead and proceed. Any other questions before I continue? Sometimes I got to make sure my recording is on here. Perfect. All right. So what I want you to do is download this file right here simply by clicking on it. It's an Illustrator document. So you're going to download that to your desktop. We covered this logo exercise challenge pretty extensively in the past few weeks. I think most of you did hand in the project, which is great. Um, the assignment, I should say. The big project's coming up later. So now we're gonna kind of segue our way into the more drawing techniques in Illustrator, if you want to call it. I'm just gonna go to the thing here. So just where we left off here. So this is where we left off with the lab. Class two, right? So we did all this kind of variations and stuff. We cover most of it. One of my good friends, he's a music producer, and there's a lot of stuff with artists and stuff. He asked me to change just quick things that you can do now in your level. This is the when you produce music and stuff or different Canadian content. Let me just show you guys here. So this is the logo that you can get for that, the MAPL system, Canadian musical performers. Okay, so he only had this logo to give me, and he's doing the musical part of the actual production. So we couldn't really hand this in without inverting this M. This quadrant here had to be um, because depends on who partakes in the actual submission of the work. They have to highlight which category are they in. So you do have things like musical performers, lyricists, composers, and different contributors to this, let's say, production that you're creating. So he had to make this logo here. I can't open it because it's in a different folder. I had to make the M white with the quadrant there. The reason why I'm showing you this is because it was a little bit of a technical thing and he even knows Illustrator and he couldn't do it. So that's when he kind of reaches out to me, and I usually help him out because he's a good friend of mine. And just to show you, because this is definitely related to what we're doing here. Let's see here, Keith. So this is what the logo looked like. Good thing he gave me an SVG file, and he downloaded it off the internet. I was able to open that file in Illustrator. So this is the actual file here. And all he wanted me to do was to inverse this M because it looked like this before. Like this was like that. And this is not good because if he contributes to the musical portion of the production, he has to specify that on his. And I'm not too familiar with this, guys. I was new to it actually. I didn't know this logo even existed until he introduced it to me. And I've done a lot of stuff with this guy in the past, but never this particular logo if it's an online type of publication. So I had to invert this quadrant here. So all I did was selected the whole logo, broke it apart. I went to expand. So I did a lot of ungrouping, expanding to begin with until I was able to select this individually with this letter here. Only then I was able to reverse the colors. So this white letter here became black, and this little quadrant here on the background became white. And I just inversed these two colors, like white fill, black stroke. Then I went as far as giving him, I asked him, Keith, what do you need as a output file? Because I don't think SVG was more user-friendly for his need. He had to just submit it in a different form. So I had to, what I did was I went to export, save, export as, and I used the PNG right here. So the PNG was the overall um, export file that he needed. And in return, he ended up getting this. So we basically transformed this one into that one. Okay. So it took me a few minutes, and to an average person, I don't think they can even do this because it was very technical. So if I open this file, I can show you what I had to deal with. First of all, the whole thing is together. So I had to like break it apart, ungroup it. I use some of the Pathfinder techniques, right? These were also combined. I had to ungroup them as well. Okay, so there was a lot of, we'll call it technical drawing surgery we had to do. Okay, we had to perform. So the thing is, like, we had to release compound path, and then we had to do the Pathfinder. Remember minus front, because these are two different shapes. When you release a compound path, all the objects get basically broken up into shapes. So now I was able to separate the letters by doing that simple move. Okay, I'm just doing this to show you. Then the circle was a challenge because I had these two shapes interfering with the actual the cross. This is separate, and that's separate. So how do I break this up into quadrants? Because I had to change this quadrant here to white and invert the M to black. Okay, so for me to do that, I had to grab these two rectangles here and merge them as one, which is unite. So now this became one shape. And then I select the one in the back, which is the circle. And what I do is I do the extract, which is punch a hole through it. So now this gave me this option, you see? And finally, I would right click and ungroup this. So now they're all separate little quadrants, you see? And then I select this quadrant here and I give it a white fill. But with that, you can't see really the back outline of it. It looks like that. So I give it a white key line, like a border. So simply what made the stroke black, and this was the result that I got. It was a little too thin, so I had to add some extra points to make it thicker. I think I went like 10 points. And this was the final result of the logo. So, like I said, a lot of programs are not capable of doing this. And I've worked with many, many programs. When it gets technical like this, only Illustrator, I think. There might be one or two more out there, but Illustrator definitely is able to take something and expand it, break it down, and modify it. Otherwise, you would have to do this from scratch. And I'm sure other programs can do this from scratch, but I think it's easier sometimes just to work with what you're given than to recreate something. Because then, how about if the fonts were different and you had to match the font? That's a challenge by itself. Sometimes these quadrants to make this design in other programs may be challenging by itself. Okay. So just something I thought I'd share with you before we move forward. The exercise that I'm going to do today with you online will mimic or reflect some of these techniques, which will kind of, expose you to some of these nice methods of handling problems, situations, and doing your own designs from scratch. Okay. All right. So let's put this away because I like the fact that I recorded this part so you can kind of see how this was done. And knowing how to do this can open up other type of scenarios you might be facing and challenged by completing an Illustrator. Can I do this in Photoshop? Some of you may ask me. The answer is no. Photoshop is a digital imaging program. That's a program we're going to start using later, like in week 8. That's our latter part of the semester when we deal with images and different quality of pixels and resolution and things like that. Right now we're in a drawing program. And this is how the drawing program is most effective by doing stuff like this, right? Whether you're creating a logo or modifying a logo or drawing something from scratch, this is what the program's all about. I like to reflect from these things from time to time because as you're doing this, maybe you're not too familiar with the program. I want to remind you of its capabilities and why are we learning these tools. All right, so let's go ahead and open this thing I asked you to download from the module class number 3 Android from the Illustrator module. So this is the AI logo I downloaded. This is the exercise we're going to be doing this Wednesday. Simply when you download the file here, just open it up in your computers. Double click or open it with Illustrator, and there it is. All right. Now this is set up for you. I'm going to show you how the setup process is also, so you understand how this is done. Because it's easy for me to give you something and say, just do it. But for you to do this on your own, and maybe perhaps you're tracing a different logo. Maybe you're creating, and again, I'm not going back to logos here. This is more like drawing. How do you produce a drawing? Could be an icon, could be an actual, any type of illustration or design that you want to place into your work. Could be a website, could be a mobile app, anything digital that you're creating. So this is, now you have to open up the layers panel. So there's the layers panel in Illustrator. This is what's important for this lesson, is to understand how this layer structure is set up. So by default, there's only one layer, okay? So this layer 2, let's say, doesn't even exist. By the way, do not do this. I just want you to watch this and understand how this came to be. Because ultimately, when you're faced with a challenge like this, you're gonna have an image that you bring in from the internet that looks like this. And if you zoom in closely, you can see this is a pixelated picture or drawing. Our job is to make it SVG, scalable vector graphic. And you know the difference because it's nice and smooth, it's better, it's scalable, it's easier to work with, and you can change the colors and stuff. I can't do nothing with this except select it and move it around because it's an image basically. Our job is to redraw this and make it vector, just like we did with the logos in the past. The difference is this is a little more advanced and it'll teach you a little more, complicated tasks that Illustrator can do. So let's go ahead and I reversed engineered it to show you how I set it up. However, you can continue from the point that I showed you earlier. So just to kind of keep that on the record, because I'm recording this lesson here, is you can bring any logo off the internet. Just to kind of show you quickly, I can go grab the Apple logo, for example. Right? And if we're doing Apple or Android, either one, you can copy this logo, save it, and then place it in Illustrator. Okay, I can do the same thing here. Okay, copy and paste, right? I mean, this looks pretty good, but it's still not vector. And how do I make it blue instead of black? I can't because it's an image. So I can't really edit it that easy. So that's my point, right? So I just bring in anything off the internet. You can copy, paste. You can even right click, save the image. Save the image. And then in Illustrator, you can place the image. I'm just going to move this out of the way here just to show you other methods of bringing images in. You can go place.
Milo,
There's the Apple logo here.
Milo,
Yes.
how did you select the Android logo?
How did I select it?
Yeah, because I can't select it.
So I kind of have to go back a few steps here. Just give me a second, okay? I'll go back to that
Okay.
one, right? Because I didn't want you to do this. I just want you to watch. I wanted you to watch this part, okay? And then I'll go over it again after if you want to try it with me. That's fine. The point is, I wanted to explain why we're doing this and how to look. I'll even delete it, okay? But what I'm saying is to set up anything for you to recreate an Illustrator, you got to bring it in, whether it's, placing it as an image, copy and pasting it from the internet. This is what you can do. So if you zoom in, you can see again, this is a pixelated, image. It's not a vector shape. Your job is to create it into vector. So how do I do that is I double click right here. And Alex, I'll get you in a second. I double click here. I check off this very, very important option here called templates. When you check off templates, it'll dim it to 50% because it's a little dimmer, so you can't see it. And these other grayed out areas are automatically applied, like it locks it, it shows it, it previews it. So if you click OK, it looks like this, and you can't really select it, just like Alex was saying. How do you select Android? You can't, because it's a template. The only way to reverse this is to double click, take off the template, and press OK. Now you can select it. But honestly, Alex, you don't want to do this because I'm just showing you why is it set up that way, for what reason, and how to make it so. So I'm just kind of reversing it back to show you the reason why and how, and stuff like that, right? So again, you want to double click, turn on template, click OK, and that's how we set it up. Okay? And then we create an additional layer from here, a new layer, and on layer number 2, we actually go ahead and recreate this logo and design. Now I'm going to stick with the Android theme. I'm not going to do Apple, because if I do Apple, it's going to be different. And there's a lot more techniques involved in this one. I don't mind doing it one day, actually. This might be a good little follow-up exercise. So let's stick with the theme. I'm going to close this and put it away and open up the Android logo, because that's the one we're doing today. Okay? I just wanted to show you how this was set up. Clear? Okay. So layer number 2 is the one we're going to be recreating this on. So again, I'll repeat again, guys, you don't have to do what I did. I just wanted to show you how to do it in case you have to do it one day. Chances are you might not have to do this. Well, who knows? You might recreate and redraw stuff if you need to. So either way is good to know. Wednesday, I'm going to make you do these things together. Okay? Any other questions before I continue? So if Alex is saying, how do you move this? I could just simply double click on layer 1 because that's where the template is. Turn off the template, click OK. I can move it now, basically. But that defeats the purpose of it being a template. Templates are, I use this analogy a lot. When I used to be a lot younger, I used to trace a lot of superheroes and comic books and stuff, and I would do it by hand by tracing the characters from a comic book on a window. The window, because the light goes through and I can see through both pieces of paper like onion skin and trace the outlines, and then I'll do my own little details on top of that. So we're kind of mimicking the same approach by making this a template. So you can't move it, you can't grab it, and it's slightly dimmed out so we can see what we're doing on top of it on a separate layer.
So now do we follow along or do we just watch?
Now you follow along, sure.
Okay, thanks.
So again, if I was to, let's say you just joined the class right now, I would just ask you to go to the module, download this file, and open it, and follow along. Okay, perfect. I did enough for the explaining. Now let's move on. So layer 2, and layer 1 is the template of this. Layer 2 is how we're going to be recreating this one. So we zoom in, Control plus, Control minus, space bar, and we can start with the most simplest shape that we see, which is the left or the right arm on the side, by using a rectangle tool. Even a rounded rectangle will work. So you can use either one. I can use just a rectangle tool and simply start from here to there, like that. Okay. Then I'll automatically go to the black selection tool, and I'm going to round the corners by clicking on the inside. See the little circles? That's how you can round the shape. And that's exactly how we were able to mimic and recreate this arm on the side of the Android logo. All right. And then we can go take it a step further by using the eyedropper tool and sampling the same color here, which is the green. And we're going to make that not only green, it'll take out the outline as well. So it's like a green shape on top of our image. So we're going to copy this over to the other side by holding Option or Alt. Using the same black selection tool, I'm going to be moving this over to the other side like that. Same thing down here. Option drag. I'm going to move one down here. And then Option drag by moving on over here. So now I got 4 of them. The body should be fairly simple. I'm going to use a rectangle tool for that by catching the corner here and doing this. To see more closely where my edges are, I can switch my view from preview to outline view. Remember this, the supervision X-ray glasses I keep joking about? So if you do that, you can really see through everything. One benefit of having this template layer is you can see right through it. Otherwise, if it wasn't, this
Sorry, how do
green
you do outline view?
control Y.
Control Y, okay.
Yeah. So Command Y, Control Y switches this superhero X-ray vision outline view. And if this wasn't a template, you wouldn't see this template in this view, by the way. That's another advantage why you want to have this layer as a template. Why don't I rename this and call it templates? You don't have to rename it, but notice how it's also italicized, all because I have this template option checked on. So if you double click, you can ensure that's the case because it is. Because if it wasn't on, and I go to Control Y, look, you wouldn't be able to see it. You understand? That's why it's important that we do to have this thing on template mode. And we press Control Y, we can see right through, and we can see the template in the background embedded, like a watermark view. And I keep pressing Control Y between preview and outline mode back and forth. I just shared with you the shortcut Control Y to do that. All right, I can see this wasn't really that perfect, but that's okay. I mean, this is close enough, I guess. We can perfect it. We can easily do this. There. I don't suggest you do it individually because they're all the same size. So I would do them all together. So I just pressed Shift and just kind of did this. And then I nudged it to the left, to the right, using my direction keys, left, right, up, down, right, to position it properly. This is getting perfected because I do want to show you how to be precise and exact with your tracing abilities. Okay, let's go back to Command Control Y, Control Y. Notice how these edges on the bottom are rounded, but these ones aren't. So in that case, what I have to do is only round these edges down here. The problem is if I grab one or the other, they round all together. So how do I focus only on these two? So for that particular technique, instead of using this black selection tool, I'm going to use the direct selection tool. Please don't confuse the group selection tool and this one, although I much favor this one in many other scenarios. In this case, I have to use the direct selection tool, just a simple white one. So if you click only on this point here, because that's what this tool lets you do, edit points individually. So if you click on this one, and if you hold Shift and you click on the other one, notice how I only have these two bottom points selected with the white arrow tool. If that's the case, I can just round one or the other. They will both follow together at the same time. Okay, so simultaneously they both kind of go like this, and then there's my rounded corner. All right. And now I have my complete trace of most of the body, the arms, the legs. I can show you if I pull it apart, you can see how everything is kind of separated. Control Z, Control Z, Control Z, Control Z. What I want to do now is to fulfill this build is to select the legs and the body and use the Pathfinder tool, which is here. Remember the Pathfinder? Very popular. We've used it pretty much almost in every class, okay? So this lets you, there's the Pathfinder here. This lets you combine shapes. Look, you can subtract shapes, right? In this case, we're going to combine these 1, 2, 3 shapes into one. So by doing that, now this is all solidified as one shape. Different than grouping. It's a step beyond grouping. It's actually combining them or welding them together. It's funny, these terminologies are actual real technical terms used in, let's say, Corel Draw. It was called the weld tool, and that was the technique that program used. And Illustrator calls it unite. In this case, you're uniting objects. And so grouping is different because you can always ungroup. But once you weld these together, you can't really undo this. It's done. I can go back a few steps with undo this way, but opening this file months later, I can't just simply decide to ungroup it and get these legs all separated. I would have to do a much more, special execution, right? All right, so now what? Well, now we're going to have to do the more complicated part, is the head part here. For that one, I'm going to try to utilize as many other techniques that I haven't shown you yet, so you get more familiar with some of the other advanced techniques in Illustrator. For that, we're going to use the elliptical tool. We're going to start from the corner here. Look at my hand, right? Why am I starting here? Because here's where I intercept the y-axis and the x-axis. To be more precise, I'm going to open up the grids, but the grids you can't see because the white background. So what I'm going to do is open up the rulers. The rulers under, and the grid that I just showed you, it's under View. Here's Show Grid, Hide Grid. Here's Guides, Show Guides, Hide Guides. Okay? And here's also the ruler, Show Ruler, Hide Ruler. So everything under View, you can look for all these things. I just like to use shortcuts because Command or Control R is the fundamental shortcut for most programs to show the rulers or hide the rulers. This shortcut applies in Photoshop, Illustrator, okay, InDesign, all the programs Adobe has. So show rulers gives you the ruler attributes here, going horizontally, and this one here going vertically. I'm going to use the black arrow tool because what I want to do is drag this vertical ruler, drag an edge over here. So I see the guide, and drag another one from the top down over here. Notice when I dragged it, I went right to the ruler, I clicked and I dragged it. Same as here, I clicked and I dragged it. This gives me my X and Y coordinate for very strategic and a technical execution of this trace. So I'm going to use the elliptical tool, ellipse tool. I'm going to start from right here by clicking and dragging. I'm just going to simply trace and draw this elliptical shape there. This gave me a lot better precise origin than me just guessing to draw the circle. You could have done either way and resized it afterwards. It's fine. But I want to show you the more technical approach professionals use by using these guides and coordinates and why they're there for. Because you can see here, it's still not perfect, but it's close enough. I'm going to just nudge it down a bit with my direction keys. Up and down, I'm going to stretch this up a bit, and there it is here. I think that's good enough. All right. I was also aiming to make these main points here touch this baseline and keeping the same. So by doing this, I was able to kind of manage my shape transformation to make this more simple to edit. Let me press back to Control Y. I keep pressing Control Y a lot to demonstrate both techniques or views as you do this. So now I'm going to show you an ultimate technique using the scissors tool located under the eraser tool. This is how you can subtract or cut points. Notice the circle has 5 points, 4 being the ones here, 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 here. The center point's the registration, basically the origin. Our goal is to edit the points on the outside. So if with the scissors tool, I go and cut this anchor point once, and I go and cut this other anchor point here on the other side twice. So basically I went cut and cut. It's like cutting a string or a rope in 2 ends. And then I go with the direction,
Sorry,
with the
where's the
selection
scissors
tool
tool?
under the eraser tool right here. I also hope, Alex, your tools are set up this way and not that way.
No, they're set up the other way.
This way, right?
Yeah, no, the other way.
Yeah, don't do this because it's very hard to see
How
everything.
do I change it?
Let me see here. By clicking on this little future shop button, still called the future shop button, the little very
Where?
tiny small arrow. But
Okay.
but let me make this a little more. I know, you know what, it isn't basic. I don't mind this view actually. Do me a favor, everybody. Go to your toolbars, and instead of getting advanced, instead of doing advanced, shorten it to basic. Okay. So under Window Toolbars Basic, because we don't need those advanced tools. Not until later, maybe, right? So this is good for now. And even this, as basic as it is, it's still the fundamental tools of the software.
I still can't see the scissors icon.
Okay, now it's over here on the left, under the letter T. Look for this eraser block. Underneath it, you'll see the scissors tool.
I don't see any scissors.
Want to share your screen?
Okay. Yeah, sure.
Okay, share your screen.
Can you see my screen?
I can see your screen, yeah.
So it doesn't have.
Yeah, hold the mouse down, Alex, on the eraser tool. You're already on it. Just hold the mouse down. There it is.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
So a lot of tools are hidden. You have to literally click hold to get the subcategory tools. Make sense?
Okay. Yeah, makes sense.
Very good. All
Thanks.
right. Listen, I'm glad you're asking these questions because honestly, a lot of students ask me the same questions, and I hope this kind of confirms or solidifies all these steps and stuff that I'm doing. So thanks for asking a very good question, Alex. Where is this tool? Under the eraser tool, right here. Hold the mouse, look for it, and I was able to snip. So you select the circle here.
You're not sharing screen.
Oh, there you go. So the scissors tool is located right under the eraser tool here. And make sure you select it with the main selection tool. The reason why it looks cut because I already did it. I went with the scissors. I went cut, cut here, cut there, deselect. Deselect means click away. Press Control Y, back and forth. So if you press Control Y now, you can deselect, reselect, and this is the part we don't want. We just
Sorry, what did you cut?
delete it. Did you cut the points?
No. How do you do that?
So you click on this anchor point here, and you click on this anchor point here.
Okay.
And then you go to this black selection tool and just select here, then select the bottom piece and delete it of the circle. We're doing this on Wednesday, so if you don't get it 100%, don't worry because I'm gonna make everybody do this in class. Okay, that's what
Okay.
the lab's for, so I can get some exercises going and help you in person. All right. Now this looks like it's complete, but it's not because when you use the scissors tool, you still have what's called open endpoints, which means this is an open shape. It's not really connected. How do I know? Because even if I add a stroke, let's say I added a nice pink stroke, notice how it doesn't close. And don't do this pink stroke. I'm just demonstrating, please, okay? So what I want to demonstrate is also to close this path. Because an object, the definition is a closed path creates an object. An open path is either a curved or a line segment. So what I need you to do is use the direct selection tool, click on this anchor point, hold shift, click on this anchor point. Let me change the color to black here. So again, use the white selection tool, click on this anchor point, click on this anchor point. With shift, I'm selecting both of them. Trying to get my, there we go, show edges so you can see my anchor points. And then go to Object, Path, Join. I like to use a shortcut called Command J by joining anchor points to solidify the shape. So in this case, it'll do that. Now I'm showing you a more advanced approach to using this tool because it's very unique how scissors work. You can cut any little line segments and shapes and make anything out of anything basically. And then just take out the stroke in this case. Just go none, no stroke, bring out the fill, and then you have the fill and the body all done. Method number 2, okay? Method number 2. I'll do it one more time. There's my guides. I already set them up with the rulers. I'm going to use the elliptical tool. I'm going to start from here. Don't hold shift, just drag the mouse cursor like that. Method number 2, you can use the Pathfinder tool, okay? Well, like I said, I want to show you as many methods as possible. Well, not too many. The ones that are more practical and the ones that are proven to work. So method number 2 is creating one shape, pressing Control Y, going to outline mode, drawing a second shape, which is the rectangle tool, and that's going to go across like this, right? So now I have 2 rectangles. I see some of you know where I'm going with this. I'm going to cover this one. I'll make it black. And this one will be green. So basically, I'm just going to subtract this shape from that shape by using the Pathfinder palette. So by selecting the circle and the rectangle and opening my Pathfinder, as I've done so in the past many times, I'm going to use this second one, which is called minus front. And because the black is overlapping the green, it's going to do just that. It's going to minus the front, and there's the shape done. This might look easier, and it probably is, but trust me, they both have their advantage of knowing what to do in each scenario, because they might be more of a complex shape you have to extract or cut out. That's when the scissors come in really, really handy. Although this is a more like a basic approach, it still works. And, I hope you guys know both methods for future reference, right? You can choose whichever one works for you. So Pathfinder or scissors. Let's go back to Control Y or Command Y, Control Y, go back here. Now we have the antennae. And for that one, I'm going to utilize the line tool. The line tool is located right under the rectangle tool. We're going to go to the line segment tool right here. And that one just draws straight lines just by simply dragging and drawing the mouse. I'm going to slightly surpass this area just to kind of have it sticking in a bit like that. And if I press Control Y,
Where's the
you can
line
see
tool?
this. So if you hold the mouse down on the rectangle all the way to the bottom, the rectangle tool right to the bottom is the line tool. Now I have a red line here with no property. So I'm going to press D for default. It'll give me white and black basically because I don't know how it nullified. But it should be a black outline when you draw one. If not, press D for default to get the black line or just simply give it a black stroke. The fill is irrelevant because a line doesn't consist of a fill, only has a stroke value. Therefore, this is the important factor here. What color is the line? I'm going to match the color for the green that I have here. So I'm going to use the eyedropper and simply do this. But notice how, because this is a fill, not a stroke, it assigned it on the fill area. So I'm going to simply do the little switch button to switch the stroke to become the color, not the fill. As you know already, as I explained to you, a line consists of only an outline color, not a fill color. So I'm going to make it thicker, maybe 8 points. And this is my line segment that's going to go right there. Okay. Now notice this line tool, the edges are pretty square. And yes, you can, resize it, move it, and position it. It's a little too square, and I want it to be nice and round. So for that, you're going to have to use the stroke option here where it says stroke. And you can change the cap to be round as opposed to square. You can also make it what's called a round cap, projecting cap, and this is called a butt cap. I
How do
like
you
to use
make the
a
line thicker?
round. Up here, stroke. Just go up, up, up.
I don't have it. I don't have the toolbars on the
You don't have
top.
this whole thing?
Yeah,
So make sure you go to Window, Workspace, and make sure Essentials Classic is turned on.
workspace. Essentials Classic, okay.
Yeah. So don't change things because I did this in the first lesson, I think. And I'm not saying you did stuff, but keep it on this all the time. It's just easier to follow me along because everything that you need is here, basically. So keep the toolbar here. You don't want to change other workspaces because they just kind of mess you up, right? Stick with this one here, Essentials Classic, okay? Okay. So then I was able to make the stroke 8 points, and I matched the color here. And now I have the exact kind of look-alike antennae that the Android logo has. Now here's another thing I want to show you. To make this a proper logo, it should be simplified into as fewer shapes as possible. In this case, I have fewer shapes, meaning I have the head's over here, the body's over here,
How did you round the corners for the line?
and the arms are on the side. So going up here, click on the stroke and change this to butt cap in the middle. Round cap, sorry.
Click on the stroke, okay.
And you do the
Stroke,
round cap right in the middle here.
round cap, okay.
Huh. I think Alex is the only one doing this with me, which is fine. It's good actually. I'm glad someone's following me along because the questions will reaffirm the steps. And then Wednesday, when the rest of you do this, you're gonna submit this onto the discussion group. And Alex, you might want to do it again if you want. If not, you'll be finished before everybody else. Everyone will get a chance to do this hands-on with me. I'll do another one with you. I'll do like the Apple logo or something just to get you warmed up into recreating not just logos, but shapes and drawings and stuff. Okay, so once you round it, here's the thing. This is still considered a line. I want to make it a shape because I want to weld this together with the head. I want them to be one thing. The Pathfinder won't work because it's not a fill, it's a stroke. It says you can't mix the two things together. They don't go. So here's what you have to do next. You have to, once you make the line look exactly as we want it to, like in this case, we're going to go to Object, Path. There we go. Now you're going to do what's called Outline Stroke. This is a very popular little area here. This solves a lot of problems. Okay. So now you have an object as opposed to a stroke. Now, mind you, it's no longer, you can't see well, you have a stroke now, but you can't put a stroke on another stroke because it's an object. If you do, it's going to look like this. You see what I mean? So we basically converted the stroke into an object. Now we can put an outline on that stroke, or former stroke being a new object. Not that you want to do this, but I'm trying to explain, right? So this is going to be just like that, okay? Because it's the antennae. And we're going to weld this together. Remember, we're going to unite it like we did with the legs. We're doing the same thing with the antennae and the head. okay? But first, we got to take care of the other antennae over there. So for this one, I'm going to show you more advanced, um, advanced flip transform method. For that, I'm going to have to introduce another guideline. So I'm going to select the head here, and I can see the center being right over here of, because the center of this whole target area is right in the middle. So I'm going to go ahead and drag another vertical guide right in the middle of the object or the entire drawing, actually, because that represents the center. Why am I doing this? Because I can then flip this exactly from this axis to the opposite side over here by using a very advanced hands-on method. I'll show you two methods, one with the tool and one with the menu. The menu is easy. You select the object, in this case, the antennae. We go to Object, Transform. We do what's called Reflect. Reflect means horizontal or vertical. By default, it'll flip it horizontally on the vertical axis, as you see here. But if you click OK, it's just going to do that. And now you missed the original. So you don't want to just press OK. What you want to do is let me do one more time. You want to do copy. You want to duplicate the result. So you have a copy of the original. So now you have two of them. There's one, here's two. The reason why there's two of them, because you want to move this one, and I'm going to hold shift as I move it, to the other side. You see? So now I have two. And then you grab all three, one, two, three, and you pathfinder them together by using the unite option. So now these are all into one. I'm going to back this up a few steps because I do want to get you into the more advanced techniques. I'll call this the Jedi mode, okay? You guys want to use the Jedi mode. So there's the head, there's the antennae. I want to copy this antennae here and flip it at the same time. I have the middle established, which is the vertical guide. I'm going to click on this antennae here. I'm going to use the reflect tool. Reflect tool is the same terminology I demonstrated earlier under object, transform, reflect. The only difference is I'm using a tool as opposed to a menu. Look, both methods are fine. You don't have to show off by doing this, but I wanted to demonstrate how these tools are very practical, okay, and very handy as you reflect things. You can see the butterfly example there. So what I do is I click on the middle here. This is the middle. I click once. I hold Option. Option means duplicate. I drag this one all the way. And if I hold Shift, as I hold Option, then Shift, it'll snap exactly perfectly in place. I'll make you do this on Wednesday. Don't worry. Okay? So one more time. Ready? I clicked on this. I went to Reflect. I'm reflecting this vertical axis here. I can click anywhere. As long as I touch this line, I'm good. And if I don't hold Option, I'm just flipping this. See? So the trick is to hold Option, and if it won't stay, you gotta hold, then you press Shift to lock it. So Option or Alt on your PC, drag, then hold Shift, then release the mouse, then release the keyboard. Hope you're using a mouse, because a trackpad, I don't know if it'll do you that justice, okay? So then you can go select all three, use the Pathfinder Unite palette to keep these all together. All right, so this is how we can do that part. Control Y, Control Y. The whole Android logo consists of three main shapes: the head, the body, and the arms are separate. I can group the arms with the body. That's a group option. Why not unite? Because they're not even touching, so there's no point. I'm just going to use the group option for that one. But wait, there's more. We missed the eyes. There's two eyes in the head. So how do we see through to see the eyes? We flip to, again, outline mode. So I'm repeating a lot of these steps over and over again. I think I did outline mode like 20 times, if not more. So I'm going to press again, outline mode, Control Y. or Command Y on a Mac, and then use the circle tool, which is in the line tool now, because whatever tool you selected last, it stays on that particular tool. To go back, you have to go back to the ellipse tool in this case. See, back and forth. And then I go ahead and draw a little circle, holding Shift right here. I'm going to draw a little circle here, right? Use the direction keys to perfect the position. And then I'm going to hold Option. And watch, you can't grab it here. Because in outline mode, you can only grab objects by the center or move them by the center. It's mostly recommended. So by the center, you want to move it by the center, you hold Option, drag, and if I hold Shift at the same time, it'll keep it nicely in vertical or horizontal aligned, and then let go. So I have two circles that I created on top of my shape. Now I can't see them because they're all green, so I'm just going to select them and make them red just so you can see it, right? So these are the two extra circles I drew on top of those little areas. And I'm pressing Control Y to demonstrate. The last thing I want to do is I want to punch holes in those circles. So I'm going to select both of them with Shift and also click on the head in the back. So I have all three selected, the two eyes and the head being three. I'm going to use the Pathfinder tool again and use the second one here. So instead of unite, I'm going to use minus front. The two more popular or the most popular Pathfinder options are the two I'm demonstrating so far. So this one will be minus front, and then I'll subtract the two eyes, which punch the hole right through, if you notice.
How'd you
And I
punch the
did this.
hole?
Yeah, look, see, I can show you. See that? It punched the hole right through. I did this with the logo exercises in the previous lessons too. I think I did a last lesson. I punched a hole through the business card or the letter. So same thing. That's what minus front does. So why is
Nice.
this important? Because if you're doing this on a bag or on a promotional item or on a t-shirt or something, now I'm going to group all this. I'm going to select all of it. I'm going to
Where's
press
minus front?
group. The second one here.
The second one. Okay.
So now I grouped the whole thing, and this is now the Android logo being the way it is. And the benefit of doing this now, if it's on a different background, on a website, or on a promotional item or anything, you can change the color to any color of your choice, and it's going to be perfectly done and ready to implement in any scenario because of the steps that we took. So it's all object outlined and grouped, extracted, and ready to go. Okay? That's why we're doing this. Let's get the green back. And the main reason why we're doing this is because, look, I mean, you're not going to get this on the internet, right? Unless you have a source. See? Our version is perfect. Their version is jaggedy. So if you print this, if you put it on a website, if you scale it, it's not going to get distorted at all because it is the ultimate creation of objects, which is created by the vector capabilities of the program. So this is why they pay designers a lot of money to recreate logos, do designs, or do stuff like this from scratch, illustrations. Because once you have a vector shape, it's undestructive, right? Non-destructive, scalable, and good for most uses, whether it's web, SVG. For print, we use EPS, okay? And sometimes we use other formats like PDFs and PNGs for other social media networks. All right, I'm going to save this now as a different file name. So this will be Android logo underscore done. So I have two versions. I'll save it as an Illustrator document. And that's that. Alex, how'd you do? Did you finish yours?
Yep.
Can I see it?
Sure.
Share it. Let's see it. Not that I don't believe you. I just want to see exactly how it's completed with the eyes and everything. And I can point you in the right direction, if anything. All right. Did you purposely slant it so it's doing a little?
No.
You did good overall. It's just I wonder why the and we can fix it. If you zoom in, I can show you. Zoom in closely. Click on the head portion and just move it up or down, right? And let go. Oh, can you ungroup it actually? Right click,
Okay,
ungroup.
right.
Right click, ungroup. Actually, don't even bother. Wait, sorry. I'm just going all over the place here. Move it back in position. So drag it to the right a bit. Use the
Okay,
direction
so group
keys.
again?
No, oh yeah, group it again, sure. Because there's ways to do it without ungrouping it.
So what do I do? So I
That's fine.
move it.
Just move it. That's fine. Yeah.
Okay.
Let go. How many
Center.
copies do you have? Can you
Well,
deselect it? Click on the white background.
okay.
Right? Can you click on it again? Just click. Press delete. Yeah,
Oh, I
you
have
had a
another
dupe.
copy.
You were holding Alt or Option while you're doing it. That's why.
Okay.
Okay, no worries. I think we're good. Yeah, just click on it again and use the direction keys. Go right, 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 right. Go down, down, down. Okay, that's fine. Stop. Go up, up, up. That's fine. Okay. Then deselect it and use the white arrow. Select the white arrow tool and click on the bottom right corner of the head. The opposite, the other one. Click on that. Yeah. Click on it and
Yeah.
drag it down to correct it. There. And
Okay.
let go. You see? So we just fixed Alex's little misaligned point there. It was a little off, and now we're able to edit it using the white arrow tool. Okay? And if you zoom out, Alex, you can see now it looks a lot more better, right? Control minus. Very good. Okay. Excellent. Thanks for sharing your screen, Alex.
No
Now
problem.
you can save that. Right. So this is what we're going to do on Wednesday all together. We're going to recreate this logo. And if you want to do it beforehand by watching this video, that's fine. This was the lesson for today. And then I want you to also, upload it into this area here. I'm going to just save it as an SVG file. So once you save as an Illustrator file, we're going to save it as a, but before we do
You're
SVG,
not sharing your screen.
oh, thanks for confirming. There we go. Once this is completed, I don't need these guides anymore. So I'm just going to go to View, Guides. Well, first save it as an Illustrator file, right? Save as an Illustrator file. Get rid of the guides. You don't have to, but just to kind of keep it nice and clean. I'm going to go to View, Guides, Hide Guides. I rarely use the menus for these things. I have them memorized. It's under Command apostrophe, Command semicolon. These are all the shortcuts you need to learn to show the guides, hide the guides. So Command semicolon is the guides. So Command semicolon is the guides. To clear them, it's under guides. You can do what's called clear guides. There's no shortcut for that. You just clear it and they disappear and they're no longer there. Okay. Which, they use their purpose. We don't need them anymore. It just adds more, clarity to the display. This has to be exported to an SVG format. So for that one, we're going to hide this template layer. I'm going to delete it. Yeah. I'm going to go to the artboard tool and kind of crop the artboard to the desired shape.
How do you get the layers?
So go to Window, Layers.
Layers. Layers, okay.
Yeah, F7, I believe, is a shortcut for layers. Delete the bottom template layer because it served its purpose. It did a good job. Now we don't need it anymore. With the artboard tool, I was able to crop the overall artboard. And I'm doing that because I want this better fitted on a website or on a different placement of some kind, right? Then I want you to center this. So up here you have left, top. You also have center, middle, right? So the artboard, it'll position it perfectly. So what happens is when you save this and apply it on some kind of a placement, website, social media, it's going to look perfectly all the way around with even distribution. So for that, I'm going to save it as a PNG format, export as. Sorry, first PNG, because that's what people like to post on social and stuff. And I'm going to go ahead and do PNG format, use artboards, basically leave the defaults alone. And here's the beauty about PNG. I can make it transparent, so it won't have that white background. It'll be a nice, clear, crisp, green, transparent background with only showing the green fill in the front. So I'm going to keep it transparent. If you don't, you can make it white or black. You can change the background color, but transparent's the way to go. I'm going to do high quality, 300 dots per inch. So even if people want to print this PNG, it'll be just as good. Click OK, and that's what you do as a PNG export. For all the web designers out there, well, PNG works for web too, but let's say they want an SVG file. Well, then we do another save a copy or save as, and we save it as an SVG, which is scalable vector graphic. I made you do this for the logos just to take you through the steps of executing SVG and producing an SVG all on your own, because a lot of people can't do this unless they code that. I showed you the coding aspect of SVG.
I don't see the option for PNG.
So when you save as, Alex,
Yes.
you won't see PNG. You only see S. So do SVG first, okay? Do this one
SVG
now.
first.
Just
Save.
do this one. That's you can do any order, doesn't matter. But since you're here, do this one first. Save it.
Sure.
Okay. Leave the defaults alone. You don't have to mess with this unless you're following some kind of guideline or specifications. So leave this alone. Press OK. And to do a PNG, because some people can't even open SVG. Okay, they can only open up PNG or JPEG. You're not ever using a JPEG for logos because JPEG is for images. All the stuff on your phone that you take pictures of is JPEG. Okay, so PNGs is a little more portable network graphic. It's more for logos and clear cut designs. So for that, again, you go to export as. That's the only way Illustrator can export a PNG. Okay, so do that and then select it from here. You'll see a lot more options now available that you didn't see before. You got bitmap, PNG, CSS even, deprecated, Autodesk. You can even do for Autodesk for the architectural drawings, which is pretty cool. JPEGs, PDF, Photoshop. Here's the SVG. Targa, text, TIFF, WebP, Windows. Even the WebP format is new for Google. That's what Google loves to use, the WebP format. But we're going to go with PNG. Okay. Use the artboards. Click export. And let's go ahead and do the high 300 PPI. Save. I really like this one though. Now that I noticed it, let's see how that works. Let's export the WebP format. This is a new format that Google, I think they created this one. And it really, really compresses the image to a smaller file size. A lot of websites use this now. Even Google search does this one here. I'll show you what WebP stands for. WebP is an image file format created by Google that provides superior lossy and lossless compression compared to traditional formats like JPEG, PNG, and GIF. So it's supposed to be better than these ones. By creating smaller file sizes, WebP helps websites load faster, improves search engine rankings. Wow, that's a good one, guys. And reduces storage space. Look at all the pros versus the cons of WebP. The format supports features like transparency, color, profiles, metadata, and animation. Animation too, making it efficient and versatile option for web images. Wow. And wow. So let's go ahead. Let's use the latest of the latest. And of course, this is the latest version of Illustrator, and you can actually export a WebP format. How cool is that from Illustrator? Do you know you couldn't do this before because the format is new? It got released, I think, a few years ago. How old is this format? WebP, when did it come out? So it's an older format, but the stable release was 2018, and then I think they kept modifying it now. I see it more and more. So 2022 is when I think they started using it more. 2023 and more of the other. In the past several years or 2, 3 years, I noticed them more popular, whereas before it wasn't that relevant. But it's been around apparently. These programs didn't have it though. A lot of programs couldn't even open the WebP formats. Even Photoshop couldn't open it. Now they can. So you can actually not only open or use WebP formats, you can export to WebP format. Let's go ahead and do that. Lossless or lossy. Lossy means you can control the quality, but makes it even smaller. Lossless means it's not going to lose any quality and leave it alone. And screen resolution will be 72. Anti-aliasing, everything else I'll leave it alone. You can choose a different background color. You can even go other and pick like a red background if you want to. Okay, so I'm just going to do transparent for now. Click OK. And let's see and compare all these different formats. So now what I'm going to do when I close this, I'm not going to save this because I deleted the layer and well, I'll just save it. Doesn't matter because I already have the other copy as well. So look at all the formats we have now. Well, this is the original file. This is the PNG. This is the WebP. This is the SVG. So we produce 3 formats from Illustrator. This is the original Illustrator file. The original Illustrator file is 600 kilobytes, which is pretty good, quite significant. SVG, okay, 4 kilobytes for 1,300 bytes. I mean, that's impressive, guys. That's impressive because it doesn't take up any space and it's scalable vector graphic. I think this one even surpasses the WebP because WebP doesn't do vector, okay? It only does the image formats. So speaking of the web, let's see the quality. Pretty good. Quality, well, vector versus image. There's no comparison. SVG is the most superior format. Now this one's not bad because it's a new one Google likes to use. What's the size of this one? 8 kilobytes. Just as impressive. Wow. So 8 KB versus 4 KB. So it's double. But honestly, guys, we're comparing here like really small decimals, like kilobytes here. Remember, it's bytes, kilobytes, then megabytes, then gigabytes, then terabytes. Okay, so that's how it goes, right? How about the PNG file? This is the most popular one everyone likes to use. But guess what? These two are taking over now. This one's the thing of the past. Let's see how big PNG is. Any guesses? Any guesses with the PNG? And you can see why this is now more popular with the other ones. Because if you add these numbers, the websites do become slower and clunkier and they take up more bandwidth and they use more data on people's cell phones and things like that, right? Okay, let's get to it. How big is this? 66 kilobytes. Okay, so if you do the math, it adds up. I think 66 is really nothing. Honestly, it's not a big deal. It's still within the threshold of, limitations for websites. 66 is really nothing. But let's compare it as it is. 66 versus 4 is a lot. Versus 8 is a lot. So 4 and 8 are better than 66. Okay. How about if it was $66,000, right? Versus 4 or 8,000 makes a difference, right? Because it's a, one digit versus two digit numbers doesn't seem like a lot. Okay, so there's your compares with their file comparison analysis. Depends on what you're asked to do. If you have to produce a logo or design or graphic for, let's say, a website or an app, and they'll request a WebP format, a SVG format, perhaps even a PNG format, right? Depends on what you have to do. You can produce either one from Illustrator. They're all under export as, except SVG, that's a save as. And so is Illustrator. The other ones are export as. All right, so I'm gonna close these down as well. Right. So that concludes our recording for today's lesson. We're going to see each other on Wednesday in class, and we're going to do some of these exercises in person. And I'm also going to make sure you all complete the Android logo. And not only that, we going to do another one maybe as well, just to reaffirm some of these steps and techniques. Let me just quickly go to my here. All right, so thanks for watching. Nice to see everybody. It's a nice day outside. It's going to be raining for the most part, so that gives us time to do some indoor work, right? All right, see you Wednesday and have yourself a wonderful week ahead if I don't see you. Bye for now.
Thank
very much.
you.
Thank
Okay,
you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Bye for now, everybody.